And joining me right now for reaction, he's the White House press secretary, director of communications for President Trump, as well as First Lady Melania Trump, Stephanie Grisham. Stephanie, it's great to see you.
Thank you for having me.
This is one of the first times you're coming out and having the world see who's behind all of this. You've been in this new role since June, where you're helping not just the First Lady, but also President Trump.
Correct. Yes,
How are you dealing with all these? Are 3 different jobs.
Well, women can do it all, so there's that.
But I always say, you want to get something done, give it to a busy woman. She'll throw another ball in the air.
Exactly. A lot of multitasking. And I have a really, really good team, too. So on both sides of the house, East and West Wing both. So they are very supportive.
You've been able to really get to know our First Lady, Mrs. Trump. Tell us about her, because you don't see her around anywhere. You don't see her in fashion magazines, even though she looks absolutely gorgeous and she's all the time, or even talking about her Be Best campaign. Tell us about Mrs. Trump.
She is wonderful, and this country is very, very lucky to have her as the First Lady. It's funny you talk about the magazines. That's not something that she seeks. She wants to go in, get her work done, work on behalf of this country, and she doesn't need the credit for it. She's fantastic. She's
going to be involved in the UN meetings as well as going down to Wall Street.
So today she's going to go to the New York Stock Exchange with a local school with some children. The kids are going to get a tour and kind of learn about this great economy under President Trump, and then they're going to ring the bell, which is obviously an iconic thing to do here in New York City. So that'll be really fun. It's part of her Be Best initiative. Then she'll attend the speech tomorrow with the president, of course, and then they've got a diplomatic reception.
Tell me about the Be Best initiative, because I see her with children all the time, and she goes and she spends time at these schools. What is she trying to do? Tell us her priorities in Be Best.
Absolutely. So she's got 3 pillars. She knows that, I mean, it's in 2019, there's no one issue that kids are facing. So opioid abuse is obviously a big deal for her, and then social media, online safety is very important, and then just overall well-being. So any kind of healthy living, teaching children to make, good choices, including vaping. She just came out talking about how that shouldn't be marketed to children. So children are the priority, and then just the many issues that they're facing.
I feel like that was a big priority for her, and she basically educated the president on it when it comes to vaping.
Absolutely. She had a very big role in that. Obviously, she's a parent herself, and it's just very, very important to her that kids understand the dangers of the addictive nature of e-cigs.
So we saw what Sarah Sanders, the pressure that she was under. She would take that podium and just sort of try to, take shots from everybody. Are you feeling that you're getting that same pushback from the media against this president? Tell me what you're feeling so far.
Well, I think, just to be honest with you, it's disappointing the way the media is and has become, and the way they treat this president and this First Lady. In terms of the briefings, I don't feel a pressure to be there. The president is his own best spokesperson. He goes out. He's the most accessible president in history. The briefings, to me, became a lot of theater, and it became a way for certain reporters to just get more face time or book deals or contributor contracts, and I don't feel the need to help them do that. My job is to talk about what he's doing and communicate his policies, and I can do that in an array of ways, which that's what we're doing, and it's just working out fine.
Tell us about the president's priorities. I mean, obviously, the president is on the world stage this week. He is giving a religious freedom speech at the United Nations today, ahead of the speech to the General Assembly tomorrow. What are the president's goals this week, and what's most important to the president in terms of his policy priorities?
Well, I think for this week at UNGA, diplomacy is important. He's going to be speaking with world leaders, allies, and not so friendly world leaders. And so he's going to want to talk to him about our priorities and what we're doing and the ways that we can best work together, but always with America first at the forefront. The speech tomorrow is going to be really great. It's going to be talking about his priorities and his policies and the things he's been doing for the United States, and how he wants to continue to work with our allies to further the American people's agenda.
He talks a lot about the economic agenda and certainly moving the needle on economic growth, and yet his moves on foreign policy are also quite significant. In terms of his priorities, where do you see the ramp up going into 2020?
Well, I'll tell you, since taking the job, I've been really fortunate to sit in on a lot of these meetings. And just at the G7 in France, he and Japan forged a deal in principle that looks like we'll be signing something in the next couple of days, and over agriculture and produce. So the president works so well with all of these foreign leaders, our allies certainly. But I think the thing that has struck me is when he works with leaders such as Kim Jong-un or Putin that he gets, maybe criticized for being too friendly. I've seen him behind closed doors, and all the president cares about is this country, and he works very, very hard for this country with those foreign leaders.
Well, he's changed the conversation on China.
Yes.
That's for sure.
Absolutely.
And then there's the tensions with Iran, which people want to know, where is this going? The Iranian President Rouhani is now slamming the latest round of U.S. sanctions on the rogue regime. He says it's desperate. This morning, Iran also freed a British tanker it seized back in July, ending a month-long standoff with the UK ahead of the UN summit. In terms of Iran, do you feel like the president, going to the UN, having to see the Iranian president and then, North Korea, I mean, how is he feeling going into all of these meetings where they're all going to be right there and he's going to be front and center at that podium?
He's fearless. He is focused on our country. He will work with anybody. He knows that he's got an obligation to try to work with anybody, but he's fearless, and he puts this country first, and that's all that matters.
Yeah. Now, the First Lady, she has been right there, his partner throughout this, even though he's had so many skeptics in the press. Is that a big issue for her? What does she say about all of this?
I've learned so much from her. She's his rock. She really is a rock, and for the whole family, and none of it bothers her. She always says to me, Stephanie, it's all just noise. And it really is, and I've learned a lot from her in that regard. She sees every day the media. She sees how dishonest they are. I mean, when it comes to her, when it comes to him, when it comes to the family. So it doesn't bother her, and she's very unwavering in that.
It's got to be tough. How are you feeling going into 2020 when you've got all of these people on stage and the Democrats' side trying to take down this president going into 2020?
Nobody's going to take down this president. He's going to win, and that's just going to be how it is.
Stephanie, we'll be watching you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you very, very much.
Appreciate it. Stephanie Grisham.